What is going on, guys? Today I'm going to be doing something I haven't done in a while, and I'm going to be making a ranking of the top Yonko commanders. I'm not doing a lame-ass tier maker like I have been in the past. I'm actually going to be doing a normal video this time. I was thinking about doing a list with all Yonko commanders, but I decided just to do the top Yonko commanders because, especially with all of the non-top ones, it really just comes down to headcanon. I mean, anything I say doesn't really hold any weight whatsoever. And that's even true of the top Yonko commanders to an extent, so I guess you guys are going to have to be a little lenient with how much you want to make fun of me at the end of this video. But yes, with that all being said, let's get into this shit. So coming in at number 5, the man that I consider to be the weakest among the top Yonko commanders, I have Cauda Curry. You see, this situation with Cauda Curry is pretty depressing because Cauda Curry is actually my second favorite character in all of One Piece, so I'm not so happy about the fact that I think he is like an entire tier below, at least, the rest of the top Yonko commanders, but I do think it's the case. A lot of people think he's a lot stronger than I do because of how overwhelming he seemed in Whole Cake Island, but I mean, at the end of the day, like, he not just almost lost to Luffy, and we could debate on whether or not that is true, but it's like, come on, who exactly are we comparing him to in this arc? I mean, we have Big Mom, who he's obviously considerably weaker than. We have Luffy, who is just Luffy, is nothing amazing. We have the Vin Smokes. I mean, there's nothing really that impressive here, and then Luffy shows up and almost defeats him. It was a little ridiculous to me. The fact of the matter is that with the exception of King, since we haven't actually really seen anything from him, the rest of these guys seem to be comparable to admirals, so I don't know. I'm just not seeing Cauda Curry anywhere near that. I'm definitely going to have to put him at number 5. In 4th place, and this is something I'm hoping will actually go up in the future, but because of the massive lack of information, I have King the Wildfire. Basically, here's the way I see it. Like I just mentioned, I think that the top 3 definitely have to be comparable to Admirals based on things we've actually seen from Marco, things that have been stated about Ben from Oda, and Shiryu has had some talk about him being comparable to Magellan, who is basically Admiral level. So I think that we have that, and then we have King. Okay, well, we don't really have much information on him, so are we thinking he's going to be as strong as them, or is he going to be more of a Cauda Curry? I'm assuming that he would be similar to them because why not? Where if he was like Cauda Curry, it wouldn't make sense, because here's the problem with Cauda Curry. I think that Oda really just made a mistake when he was dealing with his power levels. I, again, think he was surrounded by people so considerably weaker than him that he had to kind of scale him down, which just sucks. But I think that that's basically what happened, so I don't think there's any real reason for King to be scaled down like that, since he is currently surrounded by extremely powerful people, including likely the most powerful character in the series. So I think that 4th place is a good place for King because we can't necessarily say he's going to be as strong as the others, but I think it's fair to assume that he's probably going to be stronger than Cauda Curry, since Cauda Curry's weakness is basically just an error made by Oda, in my estimation. Coming in at number 3, we have Shiryu. As I mentioned earlier, Shiryu has been compared to Magellan, who has been stated to be about the same power level as Admirals, which is absolutely ridiculous. That is a crazy high level, so he's got to be at least this high. I actually do feel like towards the end of the series, he's going to be either the number 2 or 1 spot, or I guess if we're including Zoro at that point, then it'd be a little bit different. But I think that he's definitely going to be higher. The problem is that, similar to King, we haven't actually really seen him do anything at this point. It's just kind of people have been talking about him. I think that the portrayal is showing that he is going to be extremely powerful. He's the top commander of Blackbeard's crew, so he's going to be important in the endgame. And just recently, very recently, we haven't really seen him use this ability, but we found out that he got the invisible fruit, which is kind of weird, I guess. I mean, so I talked about this when it first happened, but now, okay, my idea is right, so you can turn invisible, but if you have observation haki, then does that even really do anything? I don't know. I'm thinking that maybe if you can awaken the devil fruit, then you can bypass the observation haki, but it's really hard to say. It seems like a broken fruit. When it was first revealed, it was, because no one was using hockey at the time, so we're just going to have to see how that one plays out. Either way, the guy has a massive amount of potential. I don't think he'll be sitting at the number 3 spot towards the end of the series. Coming in at the number 2 spot, this is the man that I've talked about a lot, and I've gotten a lot of shit for saying the stuff I have, but I don't care. I think it makes sense. I have Marco. Unlike all of these other people, Marco is the one that actually has Admiral level feats. He has faced all 3 of the original Admirals, and he has fared pretty well against them. I could even argue that in some situations he seems to have outperformed them, so that's pretty impressive. Aside from the fact that he has already shown insane offensive capabilities with his mastery over his Devil Fruit, being able to transform only particular parts of his body at a time so he is able to attack, not to mention just by the nature of his ability, he is able to fly in basically any direction at any given time. More importantly, his defensive feats are absolutely unbelievable. He seems to have the highest defense in the entire series, and that's saying a lot. At this point in the game, it's hard to say whether or not he's even capable of taking damage if there is no Sea Stone or Blackbeard's fruit involved, which is kind of ridiculous since it's pretty hard to really utilize Sea Stone, and then the other alternative is one particular person's Devil Fruit. Yeah, he seems a little broken to me. People like to downplay the stuff that he's done, such as kicking Kizer away, saying that Kizer was just fooling around, and I mean, I guess that is a possibility, but that definitely doesn't mean that he lost, and even then, that's just an assumption, so until we get some kind of real evidence for that, I'm assuming that he kind of outclassed Kizer. And then coming in at the number 1 spot, the guy that Oda seems to basically scream at us as the most powerful among these 5 individuals, we of course have Beckman. Even before what we found out recently, I probably would have put him here anyway, considering he is the top commander of Shanks' crew, and I've been saying for a long time that I could see Shanks actually being the less powerful one among the Yonkos, and he is just the most powerful crew because his top commanders, or I guess his top commander and his regular commanders, are just super overpowered compared to other people's commanders. I've been saying that for a while, and that is basically being shown to be the case. Oda now has come out and said that Beckman is comparable in power to Shanks, basically saying that they are on the same level, which of course means that Beckman is on the Yonko level, which is kind of ridiculous. So I think it goes without saying that he's got to be the number 1. Sure, I suppose it's possible that that's not the case. We haven't seen anything from King. Shiryu most certainly could surpass him by the end game, but I think at this point, Beckman is probably going to be the strongest among the top Yonko commanders. So that pretty much wraps up this video. If you enjoyed it, remember to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure to also hit the notification bell since YouTube is insane and has made the decision to make it so if you subscribe to someone, you are not going to get notifications when they upload stuff. Remember to leave me a comment letting me know what you thought about this video, if you enjoyed it, if you thought that I was saying stuff that made absolutely no sense whatsoever. I think it was a pretty decent list, but you know, a lot of people have different opinions. I've seen. With that all being said, I hope you guys have an excellent rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one.